like John Cena and like grounded like Kane, like I am the MVP of the WWE. Like what the hell?
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Safari Bari, and I'm back for an episode of the Safari Bari Show with the man, the myth, the legend, Dagger D.
Yo, what's good with it, everybody? Fucking dope to be at the Safari Bari Show. Like, we've been talking about this for a long time, man. Like, you know, I've been seeing a couple of episodes that you put down, man, and I'm just so happy we finally made this happen, bro.
Man, you know what's crazy is this is the first real episode, because like the first ones I was doing, you know, with myself and with my friends, it was kind of testing the idea. And I was a bit shy about really getting into it because, you know, it's hard work. But, man, this is really the first official episode, and I get to have my boy on there, so I'm excited about it, man.
Me too, bro.
We doing this.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So, man, you know, Dagger, you've been around for a while, man, but I don't think a lot of people know who you are. I don't think they see the face, they hear the music, they see the Instagram rants, but tell us about you. Where you from?
Bro, I was born in Syria. I'm of an Afro Palestinian and a Ahwazi origin. My dad is a political activist and human rights activist in Ahwaz. You know, it's an area that was occupied by Iran back in the 90s. You know, so it's between Iran and Iraq, and it's a minority of Arab people living in Iran. And he fought, you know, for a lot of human rights violations that was occurring, you know, to my father's people. And my mother was a half Egyptian, half Nubian goddess, man, like half Egyptian, half Palestinian, translator and a teacher in Syria. And she was teaching a lot of young kids, you know, in our neighborhood. And then, you know, after like just going around places trying to evade the governments because of my father's stance, like we had to really be on the run. So we ended up in 1999, we ended up coming to Finland. Okay. And we've been living as political refugees ever since.
Oh man, that's crazy. And I bet you a lot of people wouldn't have even known that. You know, they just see this Afro Palestinian guy and they're like, oh, he just must be another one of these, you know, immigrants, refugees. But man, it's something about you. Like I said, when I met you, it was something about you that stood out, and it was the outspokenness. And I think that for me personally, that's something that I can really respect because I'm the same way. I was born in Jackson, Mississippi to a mother and a father who grew up in the church. Oh, yeah. My mother was in education. She worked in the high schools for 15 years, and she worked with kids for a lot of years before she retired. And my dad was a salesman. And then there's me, who ended up being the next to the youngest of two educated, two smart people. And I feel like a lot of people have always just assumed that I was an athlete. They never gave me the benefit of the doubt of having any form of intellect. And I only thought that was in America. But when I came to Finland, I started to more realize like, oh, they really think that I'm just an athlete. And I've really enjoyed having the opportunity to use my platform to be able to show people that I'm more. And that's why I'm glad you're here today, because today we're going to get to dive deep into who you are, what your thoughts on certain things, especially in the music industry. And also I want to talk about what are your thoughts and feelings about the issue that's going on with Palestine. But before we get into that, man, tell me your childhood. Did you have anything like growing up? Because me, I was into wrestling. Are you a wrestling fan?
Oh, man, you got no idea when it comes to down to wrestling. Oh, my God. That, like, I followed that shit. Like, for real, it was much of a religion to me at that time. Like, astaghfirullah, I cannot say, you know what I mean, religion. But, like, at that time, that's the way I viewed it, bro. Like, there wasn't a single day I wasn't watching WWE. Especially around the years 2002 and 2004. You know what I mean? Like, and that was before Sub TV, which was showing wrestling. It went to digital. And, like, you know, my parents had no idea. Like, okay, all right, there's no wrestling anymore. So they thought that they couldn't find a way to get me to watch wrestling. And it was actually a good break because I was driving my parents crazy with that shit, man. Like, what the hell?
Too,
just
bro.
Jumping around like John Cena and like grounded like Kane. Like, I am the MVP of the WWE. Like, what the hell? I went crazy, you know what I mean, like being Kane, because that was my dog, dog. Man, like, for real. Because Kane, because that's the thing, bro. Like, Kane, like, okay, he was viewed as a monster and everything, but like the thing is, I was bullied a lot and I was being pushed down, like, you know, by these bigger guys and all that. So like ferocity of Kane kept a lot of these motherfuckers at bay and away from me. So I really owe it a lot to Kane, you know what I mean, for helping me like stand up for myself and show motherfuckers I ain't playing, man.
Man, that's crazy because I was always trying to see Kane without that fucking mask. And when they took the mask off and I saw his face, I was like, oh, he looked like a Kane.
Exactly. That's when he went buck wild on everybody. That was the era where Kane was not to be fucked with, man. He set your ass on fire. Look what happened to JR.
Mm-hmm. Man, I was an Undertaker fan, and it's funny because for the longest, people used to tell us, oh, Kane and Undertaker were brothers. I used to believe that shit too, bro.
That's the lie me and you both grew up believing, bro. It still holds such value to me that even to this day, I'm like, nah. These niggas are brothers. These two are brothers.
Right, because they both, they big, they tall. They have this super dark aura to them. The Undertaker burying niggas, Kane putting niggas through hell and fire. So I'm like, okay, maybe. But now when you grow up, you realize that was scripted. That was acting. But man, I swear, I don't feel like wrestling is what it was like it was back in the 90s.
Oh, nah, brother. Like, no, not at all, bro. Like the 90s, early 2000s, even like, I would say to 2008. That's when it still had its grit. Like it dared to be something different. And like, because the stories, like although they were scripted, I've always been the kind of kid, that resonated with stories, no matter if it came in a form of a game, TV series, or anything else, bro. And those stories in the WWE, they really shaped me and how I view myself as this kid trying to navigate this crazy world, bro. So like it gave me a lot of depth watching those.
Yeah.
But it was messed up in 2003 because at the same time, like that was around the same time when America invaded Iraq. So at the same time, while I'm watching my favorite stories, I'm like, hey, why is my dad's neighboring country being invaded at the same time? You know what I mean? But yeah, WWE, go America. Holy shit, what the fuck is going on? These niggas want me dead. I'm up in here, chanting, go John Cena, go Kane, go Undertaker. And I'm like, oh my God. Something ain't right about everybody pulling American flags right now. I don't think this is the show I need to be watching. Man. That's the thought that crept up back on me. But still, the stories just spoke to me. And like, I couldn't hate on WWE for that.
Facts, man. And like I said, man, WWE, man, it had me feeling like I could do anything. I used to have a trampoline in the backyard. My friends used to come over, and my mom used to always, don't y'all be on there wrestling. And next thing you know, you hear somebody, they got slammed through the damn trampoline. Man, it was good-ass times, man. But about the next thing, man, so when did you get into music? Like, when did you just decide like, yo, I want to rap?
Bro, I've always had a musical background. Like ever since I was a little kid, there was like, I remember like my dad at that point, he had his Arabic oud and he had the santur, which is the Persian variation of the, the string thing, that string instrument that they got. So that's the first thing that I started on. But then the thing broke, and in Finland they didn't have any more shops that were selling them, or like not in Finland, but in Vasa in particular, where I grew up. And so I switched on to like small pianos and synthesizers, and I've never taken a single class. And so I learned all of that, just by ear. So that was the base of my musical journey. But then later on, as we went on to life, the heavy metal and the kind of like the emo music of WWE, that really got me going, But it wasn't until I really got to the genre of hip hop, and that was thanks to John Cena. Like I've heard Tupac. Exactly. Like, but I'm more about word life, bro. Because that was my Cena.
Word life. Yeah.
Basic thugonomics. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like when Cena was battling everybody like that, I got to see that, oh my God, this is what I want to wear, baggy clothes and all of that. Fuck all these, like, I don't know, these medieval jeans, that we wearing, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, I want to dress up as hip hop, and that was the start for me. I just started doing battle rapping, and I just started to really get into it. And then, I just got further and further. That's when I started to really go to the history of rap, all the way from the 70s to the foundation of it, all the way to the golden age, man. And I really fell in love with the culture, and I truly believed in it, bro. And I still do to this day, even though to everybody else around, it was just a fad, just a temporary party time for everybody. I truly believe in hip hop and what it stands for, and the voice it is given for people like you and me, bro.
Absolutely. Y'all hear that? Hip hop has given a voice to the people. It's not just a game. That's for you guys that's just doing it for the clout, the bag, and just the face. This is not a game. This is life. And it's also crazy that you said wrestling introduced you to rap, because people don't understand, like, for children, everything that we see can introduce us to something.
Absolutely.
That's why I've been trying to make sure that the things my kids see on TV and social media is not things that can give them the wrong influence. And honestly, wrestling did the same for me. Like, I got in, like, for an example, my favorite theme song was Triple H's theme song. At the time, I don't know the difference between hip hop, this and that, but I just know when I heard the time to play the game. Exactly. And I'm in my room. But then as I grew up, that allowed me to appreciate all different types of music. Because from there, I realized I love hip hop, I love R&B, I love country, I love rock, I love metal. And it's funny because my music variety is so wide. Even though I do hip hop, if you ever hang with me, you will see me bust out and harmonize and sing all different type of stuff, because I am a true artist. I may have a specific genre that I feel comfortable with, but I just generally love music. And it's good to know that you have the same background with music, because when I was growing up, it was the same. I was just in church, and when everybody was outside the church, I used to sneak and play on the piano. Like, I was so fascinated with the pianist and the drummer, because it's just like, yo, you pressing buttons and sounds coming. But what I loved the most was when Quana got up there and played, I watched the crowd. I watched the people, and everybody just... And you know, the choir can stop singing, but as long as those drums and the piano was playing, you see everybody. So then I'm like, yo, I love music. So I started out just going before church, after church, just touching them keys. And I was playing secular music in the church. Like, when my mom came in one day, I'm up in there playing Crime Mob. Ding, doom, doom. Give you buck. My mom like, you ain't supposed to be playing that in church. But it was the easiest thing to learn. And like, here I am now. I get into some Beethoven. I'll get into all of that. But that's how it starts, man. Like, we get introduced with music from the things that we enjoy.
Absolutely.
Who are some of your musical influences? Because from listening to your music, seeing your style, seeing how you carry yourself, it seems that you got a big influence from the West Coast.
Oh, yes.
So tell me a bit about that.
Bro, like, you know, this all happened right around the time when Guru died. You're from Gangstar, bro. Rest in peace. That was the biggest blow.
Rest in peace, Guru.
Yeah, that was the biggest blow I could ever have for a listener at that time, bro. And so, and then that was around the time when everybody around was starting to think, you know, that Lil Wayne was the greatest shit that ever existed. And what the hell, nobody was really understanding the grief that I was going through. So at that point, I felt like, you know, that the East Coast and the conscious music didn't speak anymore. It didn't speak to me anymore the same way, you know. So I turned to the West Coast shit, and like especially 90s mob music in specific. So Northern California music, bro. Like acts like Spice One, E40, Brother Lynch, X-Rated. Like so many of these cats from Sacramento, bro. Their sound was raw, and it was distinct from this. How would I say? This simple beats of just Roger and Zap drums over simple rhymes of Hennessy and weed, and like, yeah, we get this cheese, we on the streets and all that, and like come on, bro, I want to hear that versatility in that shit, you know what I mean? And the Northern California sound did just that, and it spoke to me in a language of survival, bro, and it spoke to me in such a raw fashion that I was like, nah, this is the shit, you know what I mean, that I'm gonna do now. You know what I mean? Like, because what the hell? People forgetting about that these are the niggas, you know what I mean, that Pac fucking work with and shit. You know what I mean? From Rappin' Forte to Shock G to Spice One, you know what I mean? Like, and when people mention Pac and I mention these cats, I'd be like, hey, who the fuck are those niggas? Y'all ain't no real fans, you know what I mean? Y'all got exposed right the fuck there and there. Don't be talking to me about music at all at this point, you know what
Facts. I mean? Yeah, man, like, I definitely can agree with you, because even myself, even though I got into rap and I'm rapping now, I wasn't a historian of rap. And I think it's a difference between wanting to be a rapper and wanting to be a student of the game. Oh, yeah. So I did have to really start to learn the history, because a lot of people just see people rapping, they see the jury, they see the money cars, and they see what come with it. Oh, yeah. But they don't really know what hip hop really represents, and they don't know why the founders came up with hip hop and what it was to do. But it was about expression. Oh, yeah. And it was about getting really deep into the community and talking about the things that are going on. And a lot of people, they talk about the struggle, but they talking about the same struggle. Exactly. And they're not having an original struggle. So I'm glad that I kind of got into like really being an artist a bit later, because I've done music all my life. People have been hearing me rap and sing since elementary school, right. But I never got into music, not just because I was an athlete, but I felt that I didn't have a story. Oh, I felt like I haven't really been through anything to talk about. So in 2020, during the COVID years, when at this point I'm like 27, 28, I got kids, I'd have been through life, I'm an immigrant. At that point, I felt like, yo, now is the time. And I had to be comfortable accepting that everybody's time is different, because, yeah, you see your Soulja Boys and all these people who you grew up with, and it's like, yo, they my age, they done blew up. Right. Why didn't I start then? But then I'm realizing now, what Soulja Boy song we listening to? Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad now that I came into the game making grown man music, because I take pride in feeling like I want to make timeless music. And that's why I love some of the artists that you mentioned, because you can go play their music now at this state in your life, and it's going to register the same that it did when you were 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, yes. And I think that gets into the next thing that I want to talk about, which is the auto-tune rappers. Oh, yeah. So I'm not opposed completely to people using auto-tune specifically.
Oh, no, me neither, bro.
But what I don't like is the abuse of it, and also the lack of originality of it. Because auto-tune back in the day used to be something that people didn't even want to speak of. Oh, and it was mostly singers using it to make sure that they were getting the best notes.
And in the 90s, they had their own auto-tune. It was called the talk box.
Yes, exactly. And it was specifically for making the song as clean and natural as possible. Oh, yeah. Now, it has become a complete genre of its own. Like, people don't naturally say it, but auto-tune rappers. Oh, yeah. So what is your take on that? Like, how do you feel about just in general of the use of it and working with certain artists that may overuse auto-tune? Like, what do you think about it?
Bro, like personally, like for me, to each his own, bro. You know what I mean? Like, cause I've always been like really hated, auto-tune. Personally, I've hated auto-tune all of my life. Like everybody that I work with, everybody try to get me on that shit. All my life, bro, all my life. And like, but the thing is, I'm not opposed to certain rappers, using autotune, depending on the context and the way they're using it. Because there was this one time, like this was long ago, bro, like this one younger cat was telling me that, like, all right, you hating on autotune, but why you listening to French rap like PNL that use autotune like crazy? And here's where I tell them, like, okay, difference in context. And like, I was like, I'm sorry, bro, you better shut up, because I'm not about to take crap from a nation that think Pound Town is good music, bro.
Pound Town, like, thinking me my rounds, bro. Like, oh my god,
because PNL, two Algerian brothers from Paris, one of my favorite duos of all time, bro. They're Algerians. They're not Americans, bro. You know what I mean? So their use of autotune and their lyrics and all of that, like, it's a lot more deeper than all the mumble shit that we have heard coming out of the States. So the misuse of fucking, the misuse of the mumble shit piled up onto the fucking autotune garbage that we hear from the States. It's no wonder that the OGs are hating on the young cats. Because if they hear rappers like Caris, Kalash Criminel, PNL, and they hear their passion and they hear what the hell they got to say, they wouldn't be hating on new music at all, bro. Facts. But because it's just a natural thing in America that every generation is gonna be sticking into their own thing and thinking that we the shit. You know what I mean? The 90s cats, you know what I mean? They still thinking we the shit. You know what I mean? And because of that, nobody wants to come halfway anymore when it comes to the generation, bro. So as a 30-year-old Palestinian artist, like I can do genres from all walks of life. I'm not living in the States where I have to be confined, you know, okay, if I'm from California, all I can do is California music. Or if I'm from New York, all I can do is boom bap and all of that kind of shit, bro. Like, you know, that's the thing. That's why I feel like as an Afro Palestinian, there's a big inclusivity, or if that's the right word to say it, bro. You know what I mean? You know, English ain't my mother tongue. Half the time I don't know what the fuck I be saying.
Hey, you doing good. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, I agree with you, man. Like, you know, I don't use auto-tune because, you know, my idols weren't auto-tune rappers. And I didn't grow up, you know, the only person that I knew using auto-tune back in the day when I was growing up was T-Pain.
Oh, yeah,
and they crucified his ass for doing it. But the way that he did it was his way. He was original. I think that sometimes auto-tune sounds good for some people, but when it's abused and you're not really saying anything, because I'm starting to notice some people not even rapping. They not even saying words. They just harmonizing and using the effect of the auto-tune to fill in the lack of talent. And that's when I disagree with using any part of music. When you don't have talent, we notice it. And sadly, in this industry now, there are a lot of people that don't have talent. And what I mean by talent is they can't write. They can't articulate a message. They can't tell a story, and they can't really deliver. I love when I see people that can't rap do a live show and everybody realizes they can't perform, because that's the thing about hip hop. That's the thing about rap. When people really have a demand for your art, they want to see you live. They want to hear you. They want to be close to you. And when you get close to your audience and they realize like, oh, you a joke. That's why you see some artists after they start going on tour, you never kind of hear from them anymore because they've been exposed. And, you know, I haven't had the chance to really work with any auto-tune artists a lot because where I come from, all of my friends really rap. You know, I've worked with you. I've worked with Mentality. I've worked with Diesel. And most of the people, my favorite rapper is J. Cole. You know, he's somebody that I resonate with the most. Like I said, I wasn't a big hip hop fan early in my life. So I didn't get into all the Tupacs and Biggies and a lot of that stuff. And I'm not afraid to admit it because I'm still learning a lot about it. But when I really, because I grew up in the church, my parents did not want me listening or entertaining any of that. So up until I was almost damn near 18, I wasn't allowed to listen to hip hop and R&B. My parents I used to have to sneak and listen to that shit in my MP3 player. And if my mom and dad heard something secular coming out, give me that. So I basically really got into it when I was a grown man. And that's why my learning curve for what was hip hop was a bit behind, but I respect and appreciated it so much that I didn't want to get into it without the understanding of what I'm doing, because I don't want to perpetrate this shit.
No, of course not. You want to feel this shit all the way through, bro. As much as every note and every verse that you ever lay down, you want to make sure that you have a foundation that is healthy and it really speaks to your soul, and it really lets you, like you said, it lets you articulate the message of your soul into your music, bro. So whatever you got to do, it has to reflect all that.
Yep. So Dagger, what does being an artist mean to you? What does being a musician mean to you? Because I think that that's very important. And while we have this platform, I want you to be able to tell people, like, when you go in the studio and you make a song and you record a track, what does that mean to you?
It means to me that whatever I put out, like even this episode right now, I wouldn't come in here with a pretext that I'm just going to sit my ass down and talk some random shit that doesn't actually show any value of what I'm trying to do in here in the first place. Because anybody can be the tightest trapper on a beat. Everybody can be the most versatile motherfucker on a mob music beat. Everybody can do this trap or whatever, boom bap. You can be the tightest of the tightest rapper of all, bro. But if you do not want to like touch like-minded people, and truly like reach your heights without compromising your integrity and your values that come with it. What the fuck are you doing this shit for? Because this is why I'm making a song called "I Got a Show Tomorrow, Don't Come." You know what I mean? like what the hell? Even the chorus go, "I got a show tomorrow, yeah, don't come. I'ma kick it by myself on the stage and having fun. I got a show tomorrow, what? Don't come. I'ma kick it by myself on the stage and having fun, yeah." And the second part is go, "If you ain't jumping up like the rest of us do, clear the bars, clear the clubs, clear the festivals too." You know what I mean?
Hey, I like that right there.
Like 50 Cent, come buy my tickets because this crowd is lame. If I'm like, I'd rather have 10 motherfuckers jumping in my shit and truly feeling my fucking words than about 100, 200 motherfuckers that, what the fuck y'all doing here if y'all ain't here to vibe with your boy and truly like appreciate when the man is on the damn stage, man. Like, you know, if we ain't having that, it's no minus for me if I don't make it to any of these damn festivals, bro. Like a single show would, like in my last show, like what the hell, a guy in a Mike Myers costume popped out and made the entire thing a whole lot more memorable than ever. You know what I mean? That moment alone is worth than any of these festivals or Blockfest or whatever, because I know half the motherfuckers in the damn back won't even be jumping and doing all of this shit. I'd rather be up in Paris and I mean get it down with my sauvages. You know what I mean?
Love that.
I went.
Love that. So, man, Dagger, man, we've been here, man. We having a good conversation, man. And,
yes.
You know, we've talked about, you know, your background. We've talked about your musical influences. We've talked about how you feel about auto-tune. Now, I want to get into something more personal. So, as an Afro Palestinian, I'm sure people may ask you or they may call you nigger.
Oh, yeah.
And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the use of the N-word as an Afro-Palestinian? Do people give you shit for using it? Or I'm sure here people have probably called you a nigger. I'm even call, I don't say nigger, that's the racist part, but I call everybody a nigger. Like,
I got you.
So tell me about that.
Oh, bro, let me tell you, this is something, you know what I mean, that brothers have been trying to roast me and try to get up on my fucking case for years, bro, because it's just a simple fact, you know, that I'm not living in a place like Northern California or Paris where like brown and black people been intermarrying for such a long time, you know, and they inherently understood that we are niggas to white America in Northern California and a colonial country like France. So I don't get that kind of shit. You know, I don't have to like explain it. If I say, hey, my granddad was a black Egyptian, like people are like, hey, I believe you. You know, I mean, you one of us. But like over here, you know what I mean, it's just a life of being a black man to a brown man to a black man, and white people don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, so and the way I see it, bro, like eventually, like, you know, we shouldn't be using it, but it is what it is still. And the mere fact, I don't just see it as a term of endearment. I see it as us admiring each other's armor. And until, you know what I mean, there is no reason for us to wear that armor anymore, then we can all, you know what I mean, drop the use of the N-word. But still, it's been an armor towards me when white people have called me, when brown people have called me a nigga, and when black people have called me a nigga. You know what I mean? You just don't know exactly, like, you know, where you stand. You know what I mean? How the hell you gonna respond to this shit? Right. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like, holy crap, motherfuckers calling me a nigga left and right, you know what I mean? But then want to give me the Ryan Garcia treatment because of my, you know what I mean, because of my brown skin and the mere fact, you know, that most of my family is Arab and my grandfather is the only black person, you know what I mean, in the family. But look in Paris, you know what I mean, how everybody, you know what I mean, just intermarrying. Like Caris, you know, his wife is Algerian, and his grandchildren are going to go through the same battles that I am going to go through in this life. You know what I mean? Thanks. But if they will be living in a place like Finland, goddamn the power of fucking exclusion that comes right the fuck in it, bro. So I really feel for them. I'm so glad that they can be in an environment where they don't have to explain themselves. Like, I can't remember how many times I got to pull off my granddad's picture, but like, here, nigga, check it out. A black man right the fuck in front of you. And you see my granddad's picture.
Seen it. He black as hell.
My brother can confirm it, right?
He black as hell. And, you know, I have the same word for my kids because, you know, they are half Finnish and they don't have a lot of melanin. They do have the features that I have, but I know that I do a job. I try to put in a lot of effort of teaching them where they're from. And, you know, they've been to the States and they've been around my parents and all their cousins, and they black as hell. And I know that someday, you know, they're going to meet somebody, maybe somebody that's pro-black, and they're just going to look at their complexion and be like, you not one of us. Just like these Finns look at me and say, you ain't one of us and you can never be one of us. Well, I know in the States, back in the day in the States, they used to have a 10% rule where if you had one drop of black blood in your body, you was considered black by white people. Literally, like in the States, if anybody in your family black, that's a mother, a dad, a grandpa, or grandma, your ass is a black person. And they will put you in the category as a nigga. And it's crazy because I know my children gonna grow up here, and there's gonna be some people that look at them and say, you not one of us. You not a pure Finn. And even myself, I'm like, am I dying to be? You know, I pay my dues to this country and to this culture like everybody else. So of course I'm okay with the fact that I wasn't born, raised, and then come out of a Finnish bloodline. But do I deserve the respect that law-abiding, tax-paying citizen does deserve in this country? Absolutely. And even my daughter Fran now, she goes to school in East Helsinki, and there are kids that have called her the N-word. It's funny because she doesn't get offended by it, because it's like, my dad called me that all the time. I know who I am. But Jaden, on the other hand, he's so young, he sees that as a completely bad word. And honestly, it should be seen that way. I think that he has the right mindset towards it because he's innocent. But one day he's going to grow up. He's going to be 13, 14, 15. He's going to be hanging with a crowd of other kids, and they're going to probably be doing what little boys do. And somebody's going to be like, what up, my nigga? Or it's going to be a racist person that looks at them and say, you niggas. And he's going to have to understand that as much as we try to abolish the hatred with that word, it's going to forever be embedded, because that is also a part of the hip hop culture. It's a difference between my nigga and you niggers. Like back in the slave days, they used the word nigger with the hard ER to belittle us. But the crazy thing about it is, if you know where the word nigga comes from, which is from Spain, it's a Spanish word that means black. Negro means black. Now, did they take it and try to make it offensive? Yes. And that's why in the hip hop culture, we said nigga to almost make it like, what up, my boy? What up, bro? What up, my dude? It's just like in Mississippi, it's crazy because we started using the word Jew a lot in the South. And you just see your homie, what up, Jew? And I'm thinking like, are we talking about Jewish people? Or what does it mean? And so now in the South, if even the Jewish person comes to Mississippi, we be like, what up, Jew? He know we mean it is like, what up, boy? What up, my guy? Instead of like, what up, Jewish guy? So when I came to Finland, it was so weird for some of my teammates because I was so comfortable using the word nigga that I'd be at practice, somebody will drop a ball and be like, nigga, catch the ball. And they'd be looking like, but Bari, I'm not black. And I'm like, oh, this don't mean you black. I'm saying, nigga, boy, you do catch the fucking ball. Make this play. So I think it all depends on the mindset, but you definitely know when people are culture jacking. Like, I would never be comfortable with somebody that doesn't have any heritage from our bloodline to just be openly using it. Even my kids' moms, even though they have had black children, they don't say the word nigga, and they don't feel comfortable saying it because they know that it's not rooted in their heritage. But it's crazy that we have the same perspective, but I also wanted to know, like, do you take it offensive?
Bro, like you said, bro, the mind state and the education behind it is a crucial factor of how I view you, like, saying it. Because what the hell? Because when it comes to my brothers who understand where I come from, and I don't need to explain jack shit to them, they understand, you know what I mean, that, like, the word doesn't come from, how would I say, ignorant intent or culture jacking. And when it comes to, like, you know, the mere fact, like bro, We're like, two different flowers from the same fucking concrete, bro. And in your case, bro, and your children, bro, like, you still haven't perfectly learned the Finnish language. You have understood it, to an extent for you to work and get ahead. But like for somebody like me who came here in 1999, who had to learn the language, I attended their schools, I attended their churches. Like even though I'm a Muslim, just to assimilate, I did everything I could, to assimilate and to do my best. But my energy and everything that what I was, it was still rooted in me, and people couldn't take that away from me.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So it didn't matter what shape or form it came in. Like the odds were still stacked against me, despite all of that. So it don't matter sometimes, no matter how much you try to show a watered down version of yourself just so people can feel comfortable. Sometimes, it's not worth it. Even with all of this shit, that I mentioned, I did all of that and more to assimilate to the Finnish culture, but I still face that exclusion, isolation, and sometimes even torment from all of this shit.
And man, that's why I say, man, we have to do a better job here of us uniting. And what I mean by that is I've noticed a lot of foreign people, especially people of color, we come here, and once we finally get comfortable, we get isolated. We get very isolated because that's very normal in the Finnish culture. They are very isolated to themselves people. But the problem is when it comes down to them being nationalists and standing for who's Finnish and who's not, they will come together and gang up on your ass. It's crazy because, like on TikTok all week, I've had a lot of people trying to tell me, oh, you ain't one of us. You ain't born here. You ain't in the bloodline. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah, the good old rhetoric.
Yeah, and I'm just like, bro, okay, fine. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, why is there such a problem to you? And then you hear some people say stuff like, well, the Finnish bloodline is dying out. It's not pure and it soon will be extinct. And I'm like, okay, is that our fault that y'all people don't want to have kids? Like, it's literally not our fault. Like, literally, the government has been telling people for years that if you guys don't start reproducing, there are going to be more biracial kids and people in this country. And then if you ask a Finnish person, like a lot of my friends, oh, do you plan on having kids? No, I'm gonna wait till I'm like 40, 50 when I'm established. Okay, then. So don't be mad at my black ass for coming over here and saying, oh, I think I'm gonna plant seeds in this motherfucker. I think that I'm gonna be fruitful and multiply as the book told me to do. But we do have to make sure that our community of people, and when I say our people, it's not just the Africans, it's not just the Americans, it's everybody of color. It's everybody that has, like I said, that one drop in them of colored, of black, of African, of Egyptian, or what, of Palestinian. We're all the same in the eyes of these purebred people. Even in the States. In the States, the reason why Mexicans and blacks and Asians all get along, because to the pure white Americans, they see us all the same.
Definitely.
And that's why if you go to the South and you go to a cookout, you can see Mexicans and blacks out there cooking together. And you can see a black and a Mexican be like, what up, Negro? Because we see each other as the same and we have the same struggle.
Definitely. And when it comes to, I'm so glad you mentioned this, because like Palestinians in America, as you know, brother, we had a different history in there. Because when Palestinians started moving to America, they built their communities from the ground up, bro. Yeah. And when it came to countries like Syria, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, it's not like, France just allowed us, to come to France and make something out of ourselves. We were brought in chains, bro. We were colonized. We were stripped of our language and our religion and our heritage just so we can be French. And and then you wonder why there's no-go zones in Paris, bro. All my brothers, ganged up in that motherfucker, shooting up guns, in the video and in the music videos and what the hell, just making money, representing their hood. And when I see for example, artists like Eddie Mack and Macklemore and these cats, when I see them, okay, I love the energy and the positivity they bring. But honestly, Algerians in Paris, all my brothers in Paris up in there, holy shit, they're bringing energy that is just unmatched. You know what I mean? is just way crazier. And that is because, the Palestinians in America just don't have a stronger pull towards crime like we do in Paris. You know what I mean? And like, because over there, shit, it's kill or be killed. Slang or survive, right
Facts.
there. And like in America, it's a whole different thing. So maybe that's why, certain brothers have, a disdain, for Arab people or brown people from the Middle East, using the N-word because they don't have that same pull towards crime in the States as they do up in Paris. But since we up in there, black and brown people all hold up in those big ass apartment blocks trying to make a buck, slanging. So it's a different history, that binds us in there.
Facts, man. You want to know what's crazy? When I was growing up in Jackson, Mississippi, and on my street, we used to have gas stations. Oh, yeah. And, the gas stations, you can go in, buy the little Debbie cake, snacks, and everything. Word. But they were all owned by Palestinians. Yeah. And we never had a problem with Palestinian people. We were comfortable. Like, I will ride my bike to those gas stations every day. If I got my allowance, I'm going up to there, and I knew the people that worked there. Yeah. They were so kind to us because they were hustlers just like us. Like, I'm talking about right on the corner in all your hoods. You go up in there and it's like, what up, cuz? Like, we family with them. Absolutely, because bro. It was funny because some people see them as a threat. They coming and taking all our jobs, and they came just how I came to Finland, as a nobody, and put in the work to find my place. So if I went to a gas station and I saw it was ran and owned by a person that built it from the ground up, like a foreigner, we not robbing that gas station. Yeah. They protected in our neighborhood. Straight because up. You one of us. Definitely. Now, did a lot of us go to the other good side of town and fuck with them white people on shit? Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did. We'll go in the Walmarts and all that shit and steal their candy because y'all rich. Yeah. Y'all ain't gonna miss this Twix that I'm finna take. Right. But that Palestinian guy that ain't even got the best built gas station and shop, but it's his, and you see his kids at the back while he working. Right. Like, sometimes I done went up in there and saw the whole family in the back. He at the register selling, and you peek over and you see the whole family up in there. Right on. They in there together. Yeah. Why the fuck I'm finna come bother these people? Right. And straight up. That's why it's crazy to come over here and meet you, and it's just like it's like a childhood reminder of the people that I grew up around. Like, we come in peace. Definitely. We family. Absolutely. Like, literally, bro, I never forget getting on my bike. If I left my bike outside and it got stolen, it wasn't gonna be no Palestinian that stole it. Straight up. But we don't roll like that, man. But it was times where I was getting bullied, and that same guy at the store would come out with his shotgun and get them grown men up off of us. That's why I'm saying they ain't gonna never be a problem for me. Your people ain't gonna never be a problem for me. Absolutely. It was grown men that used to try to rob us and take our bikes. Oh yeah. And he could have just minded his business. I never forget him coming out with his shotgun saying, "Leave these boys alone." Yeah. And from that point, we said, hey, if we gonna cause any trouble in the neighborhood, it ain't gonna be here. Oh yeah. If anybody come through and cause a problem at this gas station,
we get in their ass.
Exactly. And my brother, we gonna always be locked in.
Absolutely, bro. Definitely.
So, bro, I got a question for you, bro. Yeah. And it's gonna be another personal question.
Shit, I love him, bro. It's coming from my brother, man.
So you mentioned that you're 30.
Yeah, bro.
But you ain't got no girlfriend, no wife, no kids. Why is that? Why ain't you did what I did and dropped the seed, or are you currently dating? Tell us, because I mean, you a rapper. Most rappers got hoes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You ain't got no hoes.
Nah, bro. I don't roll like that, bro. Nah, man. Not straight up, bro. Like, it's been very hard to really understand where I stand with women in my life, especially in Finland. Like, back growing up, and with the going into the dating scene and everything, I realize now that the most Finnish girls were drawn to me for none other than trophy reasons, bro. You know what I mean? I just felt like, they just wanted a piece of me that they can carry on. And I don't know, like it's just value, exotic. The exotic shit and all of that. And I just felt like I was a trophy to a lot of these Finnish girls. And the relationship that I had with my sisters, that was even more complicated, bro. I dressed like a gangster. I listened and did music that represented the streets. I was smoking weed. And that image appealed to a lot of these Finnish girls because their bike their brothers and their fathers was in biker gangs, but they hated us, but they loved the gangster shit that they was bumping. So they loved the gangster shit, but not my niggas dying in it. And eventually, like, it was a battle for me and my brothers, you know, just to try to find our place and trying to find a family and everything. But eventually, with most of my brothers, I just saw, like, you know, how the women that they were with, they desired black and brown babies. They loved our features, but they never truly understood us. And eventually I saw all those kids, you know what I mean, get taken away from them at the first second, you know what I mean, right there. And I didn't want to be part of that. I didn't want to become a statistic in long line of broken families and shattered dreams. And when it came to my sisters, bro, like they most of them wanted finished man because they were seen as something that are pure, intelligent, and they ain't on some of the backward shit that keep us all the way, you know, going back. And I didn't fit the criteria and the standards of purity and education, bro. I didn't fit the mold of what their perception of goodness was. And, like, you know, because of that, I never really had that luck. You know, it wasn't that I was trying to, like, you know, just stick to my own ways or nothing, bro. But it's just that I cannot change who I am myself at the core. That's not how I become a good husband, and that's not how I become a good father. You know what I mean? So, like, I do music. You know, I smoke my reefer, all this kind of shit. But that shouldn't really, like, show that I'm such a bad person or whatever. But I just don't fit into the mold of what most people think, like, a good and a successful guy is, bro. You know what I mean? And
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna stop you right there, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Thank you.
You are not unworthy of having true love and acceptance. The thing is, this world and this society that we live in, they are ass backwards because people have allowed the social media and influencers and all these miserable people set the standard of what being a man and being good enough means. Oh, yes. And the thing is, back in the day, when I was growing up, I never came from a family full of rich men. Oh, yes. I didn't come from a family full of educated men because in America, we weren't entitled to the same opportunities. Definitely. What made a man was how he loved, how he provided, and how he taught. And you have the ability to do all of those things. Thank you, bro. Just because you smoke your weed, I smoke weed too. And you see me with my kids and my fam all the time because me smoking weed doesn't mean that I don't work my 9 to 5, that I don't pay bills, that I don't educate. Exactly. It's not about that. The thing is, I can agree with you that there are big cultural differences in this country. And that affected me in my first relationships here because I felt like I was young, athletic, sporty. I was black. All I heard women was saying, oh, you're exotic, you're different, you're Western. And it made me uncomfortable because I'm like, but do you know who I am? Oh, yes. Do you know what my motives are? Do you know what my religion is? Do you know what I stand for? A lot of people never cared to know me. Exactly. And then I started to develop this mindset that I didn't care who they were. I cared about the experience. And then I realized the more that I just made these soul ties with no meaning, the more lost and the more hard it was to find true love and the more hard it was settle down. Oh, and yes. I am seeing a lot of broken homes, man. I talk to men and women every day that have 3 or 4 kids with no dad in the picture. Okay. And you ask, what happened? Oh, yeah. Well, when I met him, I saw him as this. Oh, so you went by what you saw, not about what you knew. Exactly. I think that you preserving yourself to make sure that you don't become a statistic is the definition of pure. Because a lot of people will go out here and create a broken home every single day. Oh, yes. And not think about how hard it's going to be for those little biracial kids to grow up in a country like this without a father figure to look up to and say, this is who I come from. Exactly. This is my bloodline. Now, when it comes to you thinking that because you're not smarter in a certain situation or whatever it may be, I'm here to tell you, man to man, yes, you are. Thank you. And you have to take that. You have to take that out of your head. You have to stop worrying about if I present myself in the purest form and it's not accepted to this particular person, that I'm not enough. No, it's going to be a lot of women that God just not going to allow you to be attractive to because he knows that is not what you need and who you need to be the best version of you. And when I learned that, my life changed so much because I stopped just going after the beauty. I stopped just going after the most suitable and comfortable. I wanted to find somebody that was going to challenge me to be the best version of me. And that person ended up being a person, or will end up being a person that's going to be far beyond what you can imagine.
Absolutely,
but I
bro.
definitely understand how crucial it is to come from where you come from, and you have to understand, before they see the goodness in you from a distance, they going to see how you look. They're going to see the negative first. And if you don't talk to somebody that's not really trying to get to know who you are, they ain't worth it. I think it's impressive, because we've had conversations before where you have been 9 years celibate. Bro, that is some serious discipline that me personally, me and many other men don't have. But seeing you, we're the same age, we're in the same country, be able to say, you know what, I'm going to save myself for the right one. Bro, I encourage all the brothers out there, if you ain't settled down and if you ain't found the person, to take a step back and love and share your energy with yourself, because I think for most of us, bro, that is the difference. Our soul ties have been planted with so many women. We can't put everything into one person because we done gave all our energy, our body, our mind, our soul to so many people. That's why I feel like when you get to the point where you open up and you really just see yourself as the prize, because you are, bro. There are a lot of women out here that would love to have a man that don't have 300 bodies right now. They would love to know that they can be something special to a man, and you still possess that and carry that. Be prideful in knowing that you're pure in that sense, and know that there's no such thing as a perfect person. You will never be perfect, but you will always be worth it to somebody. So from this day forward, bro, when it comes to women, don't ever think or look in that mirror and say anything about who you are needs to be changed. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you rap. I've learned that the people that are going to accept me, man or woman, they accept me for how I look, how I talk, how I walk, how I eat, and how my values are. And that's why I'm comfortable. Even sitting here with you, I'm comfortable because I didn't have to come in here and say, hey, my name's Safari Bari. I'm interviewing you. I'm like, hey, nigga, what's up? I'm Bari from Mississippi. We finna do this podcast. It's going to be unfiltered. But, man, listen, that is a real thing what he said. Like, there are people that are out there objectifying people. Like, I hear people sometimes always say, I love my men how I love my coffee black. I'm like, you just want us black so I can just be black. I'm good. Have a type. But see me for who I am. Because this is why women get men that may fit the physical description, but now he beating your ass. Now he raping people in your family. Now he ain't working and paying no bills. So you fail for the image, but you ain't do no background check on the character. My mom always told me, don't go for the first thing that look good, because everything that look good ain't gold.
Exactly, bro. And like, you know, there's just so many, there's beauty like right the fuck on the outside, you know, for every man, for them, you know, to go and pursue, bro. But, you know, when you get to a certain level in life, you have a duty to transcend the nature of Adam that is presented in you, because that is being implanted in you. Because, you know, eventually you have to understand that you're here to find your rib. Because all this shit, you know, about like, you know, having multiple baby mamas and all this kind of shit, like all of that comes down to the fact that we're trying to mimic heavenly love on earth. And like, you know, that is the love where it's free. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about like cheating on your wife or your husband, because you basically virgins forever. And you could go on having infinite partners right there. That is why they say, you know what I mean, that Allah's love is boundless. And it literally reflects that. But long as we're here, you know what I mean, we have to take into consideration of human emotions and the limited time that we have on this earth. And if we're not going to do that duty, and like, because in the end, like when I talk about transcending your nature as Adam, you know what I mean? You might have that one, but you will always have that urge to fuck other bitches, bro. Like, it's ingrained in us. But can you transcend that? Can you channel it into something that is not cheating in any sense? Like, because all of us, men and women, all of us got our fantasies or whatever, you know. I mean, like I wouldn't mind, you know, I mean, if my future wife will be talking about like, oh, I want to marry Chris Brown or whatever, whatnot and shit. I mean, like, hey, like that's the thing, you know. I mean, like I'm not letting her go, you know. I mean, and start fucking around with the nigga or something.
But you're not.
But that's the thing. If you can navigate through this and you talk about each other's fantasies, who really like turn you on, whatever, like holy shit, I'll be your Chris Brown, you be my Jennifer Lopez for the night, bro. And that way, you know, I mean, you can do this in a whole lot healthy way. You don't have to include and degrade yourself, you know what I mean, just so you can get on with many women and fuck around and act a fool, you know what I mean? Like as a man, like if you truly try to be a man that is good for your woman and you're good for your children and all that, you have to transcend your nature before anything.
Man, you preach the gospel right there, brother. And, you know, that's for me. That's for all men. Like, you know, and I think that's true. You have to transcend your nature. You have to take accountability for one, and you have to be disciplined. And discipline is the hard part. And that's why I think that marriage is special, because you're not just committed to that person. You're committing to discipline, and you're committing to discipline to the God above as well. Absolutely. And you're saying, hey, with this woman that you've blessed me with from the rib, I'm going to do right. Absolutely. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to pour the life that you have given me, the wisdom, the knowledge, the spirit, into this relationship. And I think that the more people get in tune with their spirit, the better that their relationships will be. People want to have a God-like relationship with no God involved in the relationship. Absolutely. They don't want to have any pure, genuine love and spirit in there. And it reflects in the relationship. It even reflects in how bad your damn kids will be. Because if you don't have love, if you don't have spirit, if you don't have joy, if you don't have peace in the home, them kids not going to be able to go into the world and reflect that. Exactly. That's why we see a lot of these racist people. That's why we see a lot of these people that are just giving themselves to anybody that show any form of intimacy and love, because they've never experienced the true intimacy at home.
It's been a thing for me as well, bro. Yeah. Like, you know, I have to struggle with this, you know, I mean, pretty much my whole life, bro. It's not that I never see the worth in myself. It's just that I never saw anybody reflecting me seeing that worth in myself. Bro. Yeah. So I get where you're coming from on that.
Yeah. And it took me a while, bro. Even though I grew up with my mom and my dad married and in the house, once I got into the real world, bro, and the real world broke me, it took me a while to see my true worth. It took me a while to see myself as a quality person, because I literally let the world teach me the hard way. My mom used to always say, the world is going to show you better than I could tell you. But I am glad that in a world where it's cutthroat, it's heartless, it's thirsty for blood, it's thirsty for lust, it's thirsty for all these things, I was able to still find myself. I was still able to at some point say, you know what? I love myself. I love the person that I'm becoming. I'm not all the way there yet. Yeah. I don't have all the answers, but one thing I do know is that when I wake up every day, I may not completely like who I am. I may not completely like the path that I took. I may not even like all the time the job that I have, but I love the body and the skin that I'm in. And that's what I want to encourage you to do, brother. Like, when you wake up, bro, regardless of how that day start, know that there is only one and will only one be Dagger D. There will be only one Dagger D. And the people that you come in contact with and the connections that you make, that's the only thing that matters.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing that matters.
You're right, man.
So now going forward, Dagger D, we got one more topic, and it has been a big topic. I recently did a podcast with Xmatica, and we talked about gangster rap in Finland.
Oh, yeah.
So there has been an increase in the gangster rap, or the wanting to be gangster rappers, or just the gangster rap culture emerging in Finland. What's your take on that? What do you think about gangster rap in Finland? Is there gangster rap in Finland?
So it's kind of funny, because I've seen rappers and gangsters and all kind of street hustlers from all walks of life, bro. And especially in my case, bro, seeing how I am of immigrant background, bro, like, you know, and you know this as well as I do, bro, that most of our scene, they're not in tune with the West Coast shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that consumer base goes to the fans. And because our people were feeling more trap and Afro beats and maybe even boom bap, you know, in certain cases, and pop, like they didn't rock with me like that as the Finnish crowd did, bro. But when it came to the Finnish crowd, like most of their source of criminality was biker gangs and gangs, you know what I mean, not really involving us. You know, so like there was, you know, just many a times, you know, I just felt like, you know, oh my God, is this where I need to be? I thought I could have been a bridge between the fans and the immigrants, seeing how like I, as an immigrant background rapper, is doing West Coast 90s gangster rap, man. And like, you know, seeing how seeing like at the age of 30 and like even back then when I just started, it was rare to see somebody of that young age really doing authentic 90s mob music. You know what I mean? So, like, it was a really messed up situation to be at. And then, you know what I mean, these motherfuckers, you know, are the same, like not all, you know what I mean? Because if you are a man of the struggle, you know what I mean, whether you're white, black, or brown, you know what I mean, you wouldn't be fueling stupid shit. Right. You know what I mean? Right down there. And this is why I'm actually working a song called Dixie Mafia, you know what I mean? And the syndrome with a lot of some of these Finnish rappers and people who are listening to this shit. Like, I remember I was in a bus one time and I saw this one guy who, like, was pretty much part of this Dixie Mafia bullshit. And, like, you know, he just comes out, hey, Dagger D, I love your music and all that. But then this guy, you know, pulls out a fucking Nazi soldier picture out of nowhere, you know. Hey, look what I got, you know what I mean, for my birthday, you know, and shit. And I'm like, you know, sitting, oh, my goodness. Just because I wear lokes and you wear lokes don't mean that you can talk to me any way you won't. You know what I mean? And I'm going to put that in the damn song, bro. And I'm calling this whole fiasco out because... like, holy shit, y'all making us look stupid, you know what I mean? Because
clowning,
Because real lokesters, you know what I mean, down in fucking California ain't going to be taking kindly to y'all fuckery, man. Like, this goddamn appropriation and the whole spitting on what the fuck, you know what I mean, we do. You know what I mean? And they think, you know what I mean, just because the immigrant background rappers and artists are not going to take this route of doing 90s G-Funk. You know what I mean? They think, you know what I mean, that I'm the fucking... I don't know, the pinata they can fucking hit, you know, just out of nowhere. I'm here to let motherfuckers know, as long as I'm doing this 90s West Coast shit, bro, and as long as I keeping it authentic, I'm going to keep it real all the way through. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stand for none of this shit. That's why the song Dixie Mafia is coming. And matter of fact, I think my boy Safari Bari going to be on that shit,
hey, man. I be with all the shit, bro. Like, you know, I stand for the integrity of hip-hop, gangster rap, R&B, whatever. Like, I just feel like, you know, if you don't really respect it, if you don't really understand it, if you ain't really about it, don't do it. And that's what I was saying on the podcast. It's a lot of wannabes. And a lot of people, me personally, it's a lot of people here that have never been through enough of a struggle to even know what being a gangster and what their lifestyle is like. Like, people want to be thugs, but they don't know what being a thug is like.
Exactly, and they don't have the right people. Like, I cannot say the right or wrong people, bro, because in the end, it's always a gamble when you up in that underworld, bro. But when it came to my cousin, bro, like, I had to see him go in and out of jail, bro. Like, he had been struggling with a drug problem. I don't care what it takes, bro. As long as I'm here breathing and I'm working for my shit, I'm making sure, you know what I mean, I save my cousin, you know what I mean, from that fucking bullshit, bro. But in his own way, you know what I mean, like, when I saw him go through the motions, he basically told me, like, whatever you do, son, and whatever you do, cuz, like, don't you get up and, like, you know, end up like me. Because I've seen the hurt in his eyes, you know what I mean, from stabbing motherfuckers, going out there in and out of jail, and just, you know, and just being lost. Because what was supposed to break both me and my cousin, bro, like, it did worse to him. And I wasn't going to, like, you know, let my OG down. You know what I mean? That's why I got a clean criminal record, because I know with a criminal record, I can never fulfill my dream of going to the States or anywhere else in the world to truly showcase my talent. So people, you know what I mean, trying to come, oh, you ain't a real G because you ain't out there in the street doing all of that. Motherfuckers, I got a whole different assignment, and I'm breaking my family off of this shit. Y'all can, like, you know, fuck up all of your bullshit and change your language and change your color, change your integrity, and y'all can do everything y'all want to fit in with these bikers or fit in with these wannabe rappers and fit in with the gatekeepers. But I ain't finna be about that, bro. I'm finna take my family out of this shit and do what the fuck I'm supposed to do as an artist, man.
Respect, brother. Respect. Y'all heard it, man. Y'all heard it. We being authentic, we being real, and we being true to ourselves. And that's something in this day and age, man, that's very rare. Like, people don't know who they want to be. Oh, yeah. People don't know who they are. And there are very few in this world full of people. There are very few people that are unapologetically themselves, man. Oh, yes. And I'm proud of you for sticking to that. I'm proud of you for understanding what Dagger D and who Dagger D is, where he come from, what he represents, and staying true to that. Absolutely. And man, I wish you all the success, all the blessings, all the love, all the support, all the growth, all the money, whatever that comes with being a good, genuine person. I wish that for you, brother.
You too, brother.
So y'all, as we conclude, man, this was a great time, Dagger D.
Absolutely.
This was a great time. Like my boy said, there's new projects on the way.
Oh, yeah.
You got the Dixie Mafia projects coming out, but also he already got a catalog full of great music. So Dagger D, tell people where they can find you. Tell them your Instagram handle, your Spotify. Where can we find you?
Oh, yeah, you can find me on all streaming platforms, bro. Just type in Dagger D. As for my Instagram, I want y'all to type in Dagger D Official. I'm not about using those crazy-ass names on Instagram just so motherfuckers cannot find my shit, you know what I mean? Just so I want it to look cool or bougie, you know what I mean? Nah, it's simple, Dagger D Official. Check out, you can find all of my content and the future content me and my boy gonna create, because he putting me on game on the social media
putting
thing,
them on game, baby.
So that Instagram account gonna be upgraded like hell. So all of this shit, you know, my rants or whatever, they're gonna come back 10 times, even more extended.
10 times fold.
Exactly, and it's gonna be off the hook, man.
Hey, man, we love to hear it, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to this episode, the first episode, the official episode with Dagger D Official of the Safari Bari Show. We wish y'all peace and love. We out.
Peace out, man.
My brother.
Got that shit.